Hi, I'm Valerie,
And I'm Taylor,
and welcome to
Whimsy Gossip,
where we talk all things fantasy.
and our favorite ways to escape reality.
Today's episode, we're in person.
We're in person. So Val and I live is it like 6 hours away?
Oh, like 5.
Like 5 hours away from each other. She moved away. It's fine. Whatever. Anyway, so we actually live pretty far away from each other, so we rarely get to do things in person. But she made the drive.
So exciting.
And now we get to film this episode in person, and I am so excited. So,
Yes, so today's episode, we are going to be talking about
Heir of Fire.
Oh
We're
my-
doing a book review. This one's my favorite.
This is definitely my favorite so far.
This is like a Wings and Ruin for me because there's just so much that happened, like so much meat and potatoes that I'm just like, oh my gosh, there was just like nonstop.
I think what's really cool about this book is in the previous books, I've commended Sarah J. Maas for the amount of perspectives that we got. But I think
Yeah.
it was even more exciting because our characters weren't together. It was very Game of Thrones-esque where we had like multiple stories going on at the same time. And I knew that was going to happen. I was so excited for that after Crown of Midnight when Selena left on the boat. And I was like, oh my gosh, now we're going to get like Kale and Dorian, what's going on there, and then what's going on with Selena, and then obviously I didn't know about Manon yet, but that was like a third added bonus.
Love Manon. And I don't know if that's why I love Heir of Fire so much, but oh, she's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll get to that, but I mean, she's okay. I don't know. I'm not like as attached to her as like everyone seems to be yet. Like she's cool. I don't have anything wrong with Manon, but just my core characters, I think I just can't let go of them in that way, and like so I'm just like okay, like let's go. Come on. Come on. Let's get back to Dorian. Let's get back to Kale. Let's get back to Selena. Like what's happening to my friends? Like she's not my friend yet, I feel like. I don't know.
She's just an acquaintance.
Yeah, she's just
She
an
hasn't
acquaintance.
made it to the friend level yet. She's
No,
just an acquaintance.
I'm really worried about my friends right now.
Okay, I mean, same. I think we're all really worried about them, but anyway. Okay, so talking about Heir of Fire. Okay, so I think when we start this book off,
Yeah.
we last see Selena going to Wendelin.
Right.
And she was going to assassinate the king and the prince of Wendelin.
Yes.
And I believe what happened to Kale and Dorian.
So Kale made that deal with his dad, so he was going to go
That's
back
right,
and be
okay.
the lord of whatever. And Dorian, he didn't tell Dorian
Mhm.
yet or anything like that. He also didn't tell Dorian about the fact that she's Aelin.
Yeah,
So Kale at the very end of the book of Crown of Midnight finds out
that's
that she's
right.
Aelin.
She figures it
Whole
out.
realization. He's like, wow, I just sent like her to right into her like basically her family's arms pretty much. So that's kind of where we left her, and where we pick her back up is she's kind of spiraling.
Yeah, she's going around. She doesn't want to kill the prince and the king. And I
Yeah.
remember, there was so much that happened in this book that I feel like I think we're like picking back up and we're like, wait a second, let's jog our memories because
Yeah.
a lot happened.
But she's like drinking. I don't really understand. So I think at this point I'm like kind of like, Selena, what are you doing? So she has like Nehemia's promise. Like she made the promise to Nehemia that she would like free Elway, carry the torch for Nehemia after her death. And she is thinking like trying to find a Maeve or whatever to get answers about the word keys. But in the midst of that, she's kind of just, I don't know, I guess just after Nehemia's death, she's spiraling again. She's like, she has a tendency to do this, I feel like,
she doesn't want to kill the king and the prince. So I
yeah,
think she's
she
kind
never
of
planned on
trying.
doing that.
Yeah, she's trying to figure out, okay, like what do I have to do next? But that's when all this is going on. This is when we meet Rowan.
Yes. So she's drinking, she's gambling, she's doing all of this. But I guess in the midst of that, she finds, a way to get to Maeve, and that's through Rowan. And her and Rowan go on this, very quiet journey all the way to Maeve.
And you don't light fires in the woods.
Yeah.
That's one thing I took from that journey.
Yeah.
You don't light fires in the woods.
It's a weird place. Like, so it's weird because we just came from Adderlin. I literally
Adderlin.
Adderlin. I always mess it up. Adderlin. And
Or Aderlon? I
oh,
don't know.
see, I don't
Is it
know.
Aderlon? I think it's Aderlon.
Yeah.
Aderlon.
So we just came
Whatever.
from yeah, we just came from a place with no magic, and all we have are these like word keys and things like that, to a place that now has magic, has fae. Rowan is like super old. I don't know if we find out exactly how old he is yet, but like
He's
hundreds
old.
of years
Yeah.
for sure. And so now we're in a place with magic again, and like that's kind of weird, you know? It's new. It's back to kind of like that Akatar world, right?
Yeah,
We didn't
it
have
is.
that though before. We didn't have to
No.
worry about creatures in the dark and lighting
So like
fires.
I'm wondering, is this just like a thing like okay, actually I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna bite my tongue real quick and I'll wait till we get a little further in the episode.
Okay. So you have
Okay.
a theory?
I have a theory. I
Of
don't
course
know.
we have a theory.
I have a theory.
Always with the theories. So, okay, so then what let's see. We have KL and we get introduced to Adian.
Oh, love
Interesting
Adian.
character, right? Like at first it's kind of like he's got
I
the
knew he wasn't
ring,
evil from the
you
beginning. I
know.
just knew. I had a feeling. I was like, there's no way this guy's evil.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I
I
knew
wasn't
from the
too
jump.
sure about him at first.
Really?
But I mean, because he was like had the ring
Mm-hmm.
and like he was all with the king. So I thought maybe he was gonna be this like, I don't know.
No, he was like the one character I was like, oh, he's not evil. This guy's a double agent. I just had a feeling from the way he was being written and how
Yeah.
he he's like with Terrason and was with Terrason and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I knew he wasn't evil and I just love him. I think he's like the best.
Yeah. So I think also KL, I know because of spoilers that people feel some type of way about this guy. So I think I'm also like the whole time reading Air of Fire, I'm looking for like, okay, when's the ball gonna drop? What's KL gonna do? What's so bad about him? And
Oh
it
wait, KL? Are you talking about KL or
yes,
Adian?
KL.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
people
Don't
online
like
don't like
KL.
him. So
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
like,
know
what
why.
is this? And I mean, he was wonderful. I'm just going to say right off the bat, like, if we want
Mm-hmm.
to talk about Kale in this book, he, I feel like, was trying to keep her secret. But let's talk about him telling Adian and saving his life. Kale wasn't put in a situation. How did you feel about that? Did he make the right decision telling Adian the
I
truth?
think he did,
But it
yeah.
was a risk.
It was a
He
humongous
doesn't know
risk.
Adian.
No, he doesn't. But I think KL, I've always said this, KL is very much a good judge of character. And I think he's
Yeah.
also very smart. Like KL's not dumb. He can piece things together. And I think he just knew. I think he knew. He was like,
This guy is on her
yeah.
team.
Yeah. I really think KL, that's like, if we ever find out KL has any kind of magic, I bet you it's going to be like something along the lines of like his intuition, because his intuition is
Yeah.
always so strong. And he's, in my opinion, from like all the things we've seen about KL, his intuition's always been like the strongest. And I think that's why when he made that risk with Adian,
Yeah.
it wasn't like that big of a risk, because I mean, also it was like, all right, well, if I die right here, this could be my only chance at potentially saving Selena.
Yeah. That's a
So
good
like
point.
if they're gonna kill me, I mean, I might as well say
I
something.
might as well let her know that the lost princess of Terrason is alive.
Yeah, and like that might, change the game here if he maybe was really on the king's side,
Yeah.
and then he realizes, oh my god, my princess is still here and she's still alive. Like that could totally change his entire vibe and be like, oh my gosh. So I think, and it was his last ditch effort, like,
People always be saying that Kale's doing too much. People they complain. They're like, Kale,
Really?
just do less. Stop doing so much.
Really?
And I just don't get that because I feel like everything he's doing, like maybe he is doing too much, but he's like, I feel like his whole personality is based around like serving others and serving his
Always.
friends.
Yeah.
And so, like, he puts Dorian and Selena before himself. And I think Dorian a lot of the times before everyone else. And he really does care
He
about him.
does. Dorian's like his
So
brother.
let's talk about their relationship in this book because it was pretty strenuous.
Kills me.
Yeah. Like when
It kills
Dorian
me.
finds out, because he goes down through the secret passageway when Kale's sharing the truth with Adian and he finds out the truth about Selena and
Yeah,
that Kale didn't tell him. How do you feel about that? Do you think Kale should have told him the truth?
I do.
I do too.
I think Kale probably should have told Dorian, because we've seen time and time again that Dorian cares about Selena. as a friend. He loved her once as like a lover almost, but then he also cared about her as a friend. And he has like displayed that so many times. He would add literally, I mean, he never said it outright, but he literally said he would like leave the kingdom behind for her. He'd leave this whole world behind just for Selena.
Yeah. But it's
So
weird in that moment, he has this internal dialogue once he finds out who Selena really is. And he's like, to think that I would have,
mhm.
given up everything for this person who completely lied to me about who they were. He has that
Yeah.
internal dialogue, which I think is
But
interesting.
they were
It's
also
not that he
like,
doesn't like her
yeah.
anymore, but he's just like, wow, everyone's just lying to me.
I feel like he probably feels that way because KL is like his best friend.
Yeah.
And he's probably like, okay, well, Selena was technically with me first. And then she bopped over to KL.
Right.
And then I just got left in the dust. So I lost my girlfriend to my best friend, lost my best friend to my
Yeah.
ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he's probably feeling some type of way because he's not that close with his dad or his mom, like his family. So he probably feels pretty alienated, which is why I think like Saoirse, like I think she was like a blessing for him.
Yeah. That was an interesting, like, I was very confused as to how that was all going to tie together when we were getting Sorcerer's Head. Like, I was like, okay, like this is interesting, but I honestly, she's okay. I'm upset about what happened to her.
Oh, I'm so devastated for her.
But like she was an interesting character because she really truly was just loving him and falling in love with him from afar all these years.
Yeah.
And
Just
like,
admiring him.
yeah, and then to finally achieve that, to finally get that, knowing in the back of her head, like, this is not gonna go anywhere. Like, I'm not a princess. He's a
Hmm.
prince. I'm
Wait, but
just
when KL, when he said to her, he was like, I think like the queen could like the next queen of Adeline, like being a healer or something like that. Like a healer would make a really good queen.
yeah.
I was like, oh, I have goosebumps.
I know.
I was like, oh, KL, like here you are again, being a really stand-up
He's
guy.
great.
Like
What it like I don't understand. Like
we haven't gotten to a point where like he's done anything super sketchy.
he's
So
done
like
everything to try to help everyone else.
and he just says like really kind things. Like that's a really kind thing to say to Saoirse because she is essentially like her boss is telling her like you're nothing, like absolutely not, that's not allowed.
Yeah.
Her, the king, like everyone knows like she's technically not royalty,
Right.
and has no right to be a queen.
Exactly.
But KL, sorry, we have dogs here. We have 3 dogs here actually. But KL sees her for more than just, I guess, like what her title would be in her bloodline. Like he sees her as the person she is. Again, his intuition and judge of character is always so strong. Like she is a good person. And I think he sees that and is like just letting her know like, hey, I'm on your side. Like I know there's going to be some people who don't agree with you being a queen and you being in charge of like Adeline or Adelan or whatever. But I want to let you know, like, you have my vote. Like, I think you're a good person.
Here's the thing, though, about Dorian that I'm realizing, though. He falls quick and he falls hard and fast.
Yes, he does.
I think he's really just craving connection and love.
Oh, yeah.
And he really
is.
He loves easy and he falls quick. Like, because, like,
that's a beautiful thing to
it
love
is.
so openly.
He loves openly.
He's very willing to give his love,
Yeah.
which is a good thing.
But it also causes him a lot of pain.
Yeah,
Like
that
with
happens.
Selena.
When you let your walls down, you always have a risk of pain coming in. And I think like Dorian is kind of like like the best example for that. I would.
Yeah, it's kind of sad though because I really love him so much.
I love
He's
Dorian
the gem.
too.
He's the gem of the series for me. He's my favorite character. I love Dorian so much. Like he deserves the world.
He does. He does deserve.
He's like a Tarquin. Like Tarquin's the gem of Akatar.
Do you think because he's so great, like something bad's gonna happen to him?
Well, something bad's already happening to him at the end.
But yeah, I know. But like,
don't go there. I'm crying. Stop.
You are crying.
Don't do that. Don't be doing that.
Because he's like possessed by the Vlag right now.
Well.
And like, do we know how to unpossess someone?
I don't know. I'm not okay. Stop.
Because like they said, not to like make you cry even more, but they said like, what did Selena say? When she was killing one of them, she said for 2 seconds she saw like the flash of the human that was there before.
Yeah,
like, thank you for
right.
freeing me, because like they died. Because I don't know, like, is the only way to save Dorian? Maybe does he have to die? to like get rid of the Vlag inside of him? Like, is that how you find peace? I would hope that's not the case. Like, is that a thing?
I don't know, but I
I
don't
don't want it to
I
be a thing.
I this story, well, I'll just say this too. The story has gone in ways that I did not think it was going to go. So I also was
Right there with
I
you.
thought that the whole reason that people didn't like Kaol was because he was going to side with the king, but it does not look that way.
No, he doesn't side with the king at all, which I
No, he's like completely 100%
Team Selena.
wonderful. I don't understand what he had. Well, I really am like struggling to see what he
I'm
can do.
scared.
So I do know. Okay, so we're just jumping around here, but I do know that Arabin's going to come back next book
I've been
because,
told that too.
well, it's because Selena needs him because he has the word key, or he has the
Yeah. Yeah, word
yeah,
key.
he has the word key.
Yep.
He has the last key, which is crazy that
I
Arabin
hate
has that.
him.
So I'm like, how is that gonna dynamic gonna
I hope
work?
Selena gets to skin him alive.
So I will say, I really do believe that there's a huge plot hole in Heir of Fire, and I've Googled this too, and I've seen some explanations for how the hell does Kaol know that Arobin betrayed Selena and killed Sam when Selena doesn't even know for sure. She just has her suspicions. How the hell does he say that with confidence and then tell Arobin that? Not Arobin, sorry, Adian that. It doesn't make sense for somebody that couldn't even do a simple investigation in the first book, that Selena had to map it out for him. Couldn't even do a simple yeah, investigation of that first murder. She was like, "Oh yeah, you see his ankles are cut, so he was whatever in this direction." He couldn't even figure that out, but he can figure out this. Don't understand it. Think it's a plot hole. That's my one criticism of this book.
I have my theories on it. I don't know. I think as we hear that Selena talks to him about like Sam and everything, and Kael tells her like, because Kael again, he's like the captain of the guard, so he's essentially like the police, like the chief of police. Imagine. So we find out that he was the one to like clean up the murders after Rourke Farron was killed, and like who killed him and all that kind of stuff, and why he was killed and all that. And I feel like because Kael is the chief of police. But because Kael is like the chief of police, I feel like he knows all the things and all the like little things. And side note, I still this book, I am still not over Sam Cortland. Like going into this book, again, we had some spoilers that we knew like Rowan was a thing, and like Rowan and Selena or Aelin or whatever. We knew they were going to end up being a thing. But I remember like I was so angry after Sam died. I was like enraged. And mind you, I knew Sam was going to die.
Yeah, we all know.
Yeah. And because we read the books, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight.
Then Assassin's Blade.
No, we did.
Yep. We did two.
Okay, yeah, we did. Okay. Yes, we did. Yeah, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Assassin's Blade, then Heir of Fire. And going into this book, the whole time, all I could think of was I was like, this Rowan guy better blow me the fuck away.
He hasn't yet.
Like, I better be like, he is just the bee's knees. He is just the best thing that's ever happened. Because I literally was like, I'm still grieving Sam Cortland. And like, it wasn't even like sadness, but it was more just like anger. I was like,
yeah,
Sarah, how dare you? How dare you? And like, and Rowan, I do love Rowan. I do love him. But right now I'm still like, I still need you to be a little bit more, but I really think you're great. And I think I'm going to love him in the next book. I feel like I'm going to just fall in love with him more. But, yeah, this whole book, every time Rowan was there, all I could think of was like, am I going to like you more than Sam? Am I going to like you more than Sam? Because,
I
sent
Dominique that picture that, and she's like, every time I think about Sam, I think about that picture. We'll insert it somewhere over here, but
trigger warning, graphic warning. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, trigger warning. Don't.
It's pretty bad.
Trigger warning before we're gonna insert it right here.
Like, and you see in this picture, this artist, his eyes were rough, and then his fingertips were like cut off, and his chest is all slashed up, and like it is just, and all I could think of, it was so gruesome. And all I could think of was just, I felt like horrible for Selena at the time, because she's sitting here and she was just waiting for him, thinking everything's great. And had she have just done what she was supposed to do, oh gosh. Anyway, well, you can go back and watch our Assassin's Blade episode. We're for all that. But
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. It's really sad. So let's jump into Rowan. Let's just jump around here. Rowan. He punches her in the face.
I think she deserved it.
No.
I think she deserved it.
No. He's a fae. Get the fuck out of here. She's a
He
human.
held her punches. He held his punch, and she literally says that. They literally say he held his punch because it could have been so much worse.
Started off real bad for me because I'm like, get away from my girl. That's my girl, Selena. I know she's a little rough around the edges. I know she has a drinking problem, gambling problem. She's a little bit of a feisty.
A lot of problems.
She's a little bitchy.
We're all,
she's a little bitchy, but you know what? I don't care. She's fiery and I love her. And so I was like, Rowan, the heck is wrong with you, first of all? You don't even know her like that. And then, yeah, I mean, he's like okay, but I guarantee you that they are mates.
Oh, I 100% believe they are, only because the parallels with Rhysand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I noticed this when I was reading. So, okay, what only throws me off though is Rowan. This is a theory I have too.
Sure, go ahead.
So we find out Rowan already had a mate. And nowhere in the SJM universe have we been told that people can have two mates. So that's really throwing me off. So we find out Rowan had a mate and she was murdered.
So sad. That's
so sad. Yeah. And you can't he was just not himself for so many years because of it. And it took him like hundreds of years to like recover.
Yeah.
So would the cauldron give you a second mate? I don't know.
Well, is there even a cauldron in this universe?
Maybe not.
Like how?
I don't know.
They haven't even talked about the cauldron.
Yeah, because iron works
about.
On their magic in this universe, but it doesn't work on the magic in Akatar.
Oh, is that right?
Well, Dorian takes iron supplements to dull his magic. And then remember, literally, Feyre is like, those iron bracelets don't work. They don't do anything.
That's right.
So I'm like, what's going on? So there's a
but
disconnect.
That maybe is where the rumor, because there was
probably originated
into. I'm very curious to get through all of these at the end of this season. You just wait. You know, we're gonna be done with Throne of Glass, and then the beginning of season 3.
We're gonna jump into Crescent City right before it releases. Yes, the third one.
That's way jumping ahead, but I'm really excited for it though, because all of these things, like I think knowing that they connect, I think it's interesting the way that we're doing it now. Like these books have been out for a long time. But we know we have guilty knowledge of the fact of the multiverse thing. So I think
that they actually connect
it's
together.
allowing us to look for things and seeing where she might weave things together. So I think that that's a unique thing. And so even if you guys have read these before, maybe reread them with us in preparation.
And also, like, don't put spoilers in the comments, but you can just say like you're getting hot or you're getting cold. But anyway, so my theory is, so I'm like, okay, can you have two mates in this universe? Like Sarah J. Maas has never said like a fae can have two mates. So I was like, all right, Lyria, I believe, was his mate's name that was killed, and she was pregnant.
So sad. Why'd she have to do that? Why'd she have to make her pregnant?
So I don't know if she really was pregnant.
They said.
So, okay. Rowan said he was too caught up in all of his triumph to become this great warrior that he just didn't smell her pregnancy. He was just too caught up and just missed the fact that she was pregnant.
Oh, you think she cheated?
So I have a theory that, because I think Aelin is his mate, I don't think Lyria was his mate. I have a feeling that maybe she was working with the queen and the queen wanted Rowan. And I'm thinking that the queen wanted Rowan. The queen like has Lyria working for her to be like, you know, I'm going to trick you and use her magic to like fake a mating bond.
Oh my God.
And Lyria is like, okay, cool. Like, I don't mind being mated and married to this really hot, like awesome fae.
Was it magic that tricked the mating bond feeling or something? Like, how did they?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I feel like there has
to be like,
yeah. So I'm thinking the queen like worked with Lyria and they were like in on this entire thing together. And then when like maybe Lyria owed a debt to the queen or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know. So the queen was like, you're forcing her, whatever. Lyria was working with the queen, Maeve. I should just say that off the bat. And then
Wow.
either it wasn't Rowan's baby and maybe that's why he couldn't sense the pregnancy, or she wasn't really pregnant, but the queen just said that afterwards, or like made them think like, oh, she was pregnant.
Yeah,
Just to
or
like,
she got it on with somebody else.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe her Lyria's real true love, which is why
Yeah.
it could be someone else's baby.
Yeah.
And then
That's a
when,
great that
so
is
then,
such a small detail.
yeah.
That he didn't smell the pregnancy.
And he was taking it on his guilt because he was like, oh, it's because I was so caught up.
Oh,
But like Fae
no.
children are so hard to come by that I feel like they're so like you would just know.
Yes.
Yeah, you would not just miss that detail. But so, and then when she died, I think the queen had plotted to have her killed, let Rowan do her thing, and then she comes in as this savior to him, like, let me save you.
God.
He feels like, okay, saved, and now the queen's like, now he's mine, because the queen knows how powerful he is.
Yes. Yes. I completely
And I
agree
don't
with this.
think Lyria knew she was gonna die
course not.
when she was working with the queen. I think she thought she was just like, either one, she was being forced and she's like, well, I mean, Rowan seems like a good guy, like could be worse, or she was like, he's a really hot, like powerful fae.
Sure.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I'll marry him. And like she could have been like a spy or something. Like,
There's
you know,
so
let
many
me
ways
know
that
the
could have gone,
magic.
but I definitely think like she
Yeah.
was like this is definitely Maeve's doing.
Yeah,
Maeve seems like that Amarantha.
that bitch.
She's the Amarantha.
Yeah,
She
is.
really is. Like,
This is just my theory. It
I
could
don't
so
like
well be
that.
wrong.
I kind of don't like that parallel. Like the fact that we have another Amarantha.
You always need to have a villain of some sort.
You do
though.
always need to have a villain, but it's just like very similar, right? So like the predatoriness,
Yeah.
like the Rowan.
Well, I don't think it's predatory.
Well, I mean, not predatory in the
I don't
same
think-
sexual sense, but like, but still like predatory towards Rowan, not in like a sexual sense, but like owning him, ownership, right?
Mhm.
So like Rhysand was like her Marantha's sex slave, right?
Mhm.
And like she wanted Tamlin to be her sex slave lover, whatever.
She wanted Tamlin to be her
Right.
mate. Yeah.
And Rowan, in maybe not a sexual way, but in a
Ownership.
blood oath way, was owned by her, and so it's very similar parallels to ACOTAR in this Amarantha
Yeah.
way, right?
But so in the book, why I think that Aelin and Rowan are mates is because all I could think of when I was reading this book is the first time he sees her as High Fae, he says the words, and like he shuddered and like stumbled backwards. Those words are in there. What happens in ACOTAR when Rhys sees Feyre as the High Fae and like the mating bond clicks and he like shudders backwards and is like, whoa.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure right now Rowan is thinking in his head like, I already had a mate. I had Lyria, like this can't be a mating bond. I know it may feel like it, or he's feeling some type of way, but he's like, there's no way because I already had a mate. Like you don't like there. We've never heard of someone having two mates because that would just get messy.
Yeah.
So then
I immediately thought that is like I literally
was
immediately
convinced.
called, I think Dom, or I talked to you as well, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is the moment. I was like, let's scroll back.
Mhm.
I don't have the physical book, so like let's scroll back and read
She called
this.
me and she was like, Taylor, start reading this book, this part of the book.
Yeah,
for
I
me."
need you to reread this part of the book because I was like, this is the moment where he finds out that she is his mate is when she turns Fae for like actual, because she does it earlier, but I think it's
He
very
bites
brief.
her.
Yeah, he bites her. She
Bites
becomes Fae, and he literally like right after that he makes the comment about, well, I don't do that to another male's female or whatever.
Yeah.
He starts getting jealous immediately about it. And then right after that, he goes to save her. Like he didn't give a crap about her 2 seconds ago. Now something happened. There was something that snapped for him in his head. He was taken aback. He was like, what? And now he has this like care for her and connection.
I don't know if he knows that they're mates. Again, I think
There's
he's
something
probably
there
in denial.
though. There's something that changed.
They're Canaram. I know that. And I don't think he knows that yet. But anyway, so another point is when they're fighting the Vlag at when they like kind of attack it's not Wendelin, it's not Dornell. Where do they get attacked?
The Demi-Fae area, right?
Yeah, but what is it
I
called?
don't know.
I can't remember. Anyway, so when the Demi-Fae are under attack and the Vlag are trying to steal the Demi-Fae to like possess the Demi-Fae with the Vlag, with the word key necklaces, or collars, I should say. We're not going to call them necklaces. It's too nice.
Yeah. Collars.
Literally, Selena Aylin is out there fighting the flag by herself. And you have Rowan with his friends, and Rowan is like fighting. And all I can imagine is that same moment in like Akasith, like a Court of Silver Flames, when you have Rowan like literally being held back on either side by his two friends. Like he's like fighting tooth and nail. And all I could think of was Cassian and Azrael holding Rhysand back when Feyre was dying during childbirth. And I have goosebumps again. But
yeah,
all I could think of was he is literally fighting, and like his two best friends, and like Rhys was fighting his two brothers, like, and literally he was like threatening. He's like, I will kill you. Like he was so mad that they were holding him back. Like I will like punch you. Like he'll do something just to save her. And I was like, there's no way. Those two parallels right there alone were enough to convince me that they're mates, which then had me thinking, I was like, you either could have two mates, or Lyria was not his mate and she was working with the queen, and the queen had some way she wanted some sort of ownership of Rowan. Maeve wanted ownership of Rowan, which then caused her to kind of like
I think
trick Rowan by using Lyria, and like I'm sure they're like working together.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that's spot on. I think that they weren't really mates. There was something there. It's going to come out later. We know how Sarah J. Maas loves to weave everything together, put all these breadcrumbs out.
Details,
and
little details.
For me, it's I'm I'm willing to be wrong, but I swear I just know that is the mating bond right there. And that's when he realizes when she turns into a fae.
It's their powers. Like Selena, literally, he can control her powers, kind of, sort of.
Yeah,
like
he can snuff out the fire,
Selena literally, or Aelin said, like, Maeve didn't pair me with someone who was equal to my power. He can literally like douse my power. He can like put out her fire. And that right there, it's like yin and yang. Like,
yes, perfect.
That is literally one is also as a mate should, like, they're equals. They're literally equals in every way.
It's interesting how too, though, the whole time, like in her head, she's just like, he's just like my friend. Like, we're not going to go, like, I'm not going to go there with him. Like, I don't think of him sexually. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
How? I mean, and it's interesting too, how she ends up letting go of Kael, and Kael's like ring, is it? Like the piece of jewelry.
But the thing is, like, so she met her mate, and I know we see that with, okay, so here we are again. We're thinking this is like their mates, and this is if they're mates. If they are, I know they are already Canaram. How do you say that?
Karanam. So Karanam, I think.
So I read the books. Valerie does the audiobook, so I always get like checked by Valerie. I'm like, Valerie, am I saying this correctly?
Yeah, and I also miss things, so.
Well, anyway, so they're Karanam, and
Karanam, I think.
So that means they're able to amplify each other's powers.
Cool.
Which is so cool. But where was I going with this? Oh, so yeah. So in ACOTAR, it's always
back to Tamlin in this house.
So when Feyre meets Rhysand, like, Feyre is head over heels in love with Tamlin, and then she meets Rhysand, and when you meet your mate, like, she may not know it, but all of a sudden, like, every other guy is just not measuring up.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. So she now meets, and then so we have Aelin, who, even though she's very upset with Kael, she still has so much love for him. That was her first love. So
Sam was.
Well, yeah, sorry, not her first love, but like her, like,
first, I guess,
like,
Sam.
Sexual.
Oh, that was her first sexual encounter.
Like, yeah.
Full on.
Yeah, relationship. Like, they went
lost
there.
her virginity.
Yeah, she lost her virginity. Okay. She lost her virginity to Kael. This is. So she lost her virginity to Kael. So it's very, like, I think it's very special to her. And we see that the whole time. She's kind of like thinking about Kael, but then she's met Rowan, and little by little there's so many comparisons where you're like, again, Feyre thought Rhysand was this freaking evil person.
Yeah.
Aelin is sitting here going like, he's pretty much a dick. Like, he's pretty awful. Like, he's so mean. He's not nice. And then little by little, she's like, oh, he's actually kind of great. Oh, wait, he's actually kind of handsome.
Oh, he actually has drama, like me.
Yeah, and there's, oh, wait, he actually was trying to save me. Oh, he didn't abandon me? Kind of thing. So I think little by little, there's so many parallels to the mating bond that I'm noticing when you look at it from, like, a female's gaze instead of a male's gaze because the male knows ahead
Yeah.
of time that they're mates before the female does. So we feeling like, I think.
Yeah. What do you think about the demi-fae and how that's all explained?
That I did not see coming.
About the fact that they were the ones that were
The conduits for the
like how
flag.
that, and that was what was in the behind all those doors.
Oh yeah,
That
that they
was what
were.
attacked them
Yes,
down
they
there.
were
Crazy,
demi-fae
right?
who were literally turned
And that's why
or
we
possessed
had
by
it
Vlag.
kind of,
And
when you think about it, go back to that internal dialogue that we had with
mhm.
that in the castle.
We
The
actually
guy.
saw the inner dialogue of the demi-fae that was like turned
Interesting.
into a Vlag,
Right.
which kind of
And it
makes me
made
want to
me
go back and read
it makes
it.
me really sad though. Like that whole inner dialogue made me sad
Yeah.
because it was trying to be human, like had a little trace of it, but it was just not anymore.
No,
And I think,
because it was a failed
right,
experiment.
so
It didn't
sad.
pass. So it was now a failed experiment and was just left there to rot.
Right.
Which
Terrible.
is horrible.
And just go crazy. Yeah, it's really sad. But
It's
that was
really
a
sad.
really crazy realization.
Yeah. That, I mean, there's so much in these books that literally are just like,
Yeah, there was a lot for like literally because I'm like literally going through my head. And I'm like, there's more to
we're
talk about.
missing so much to
Well, like
talk
the
about.
ice.
Yes.
What about like when he Rowan froze the ice to like get her to do her control of her power to go save that other like
Luca.
Luca? Yeah, Luca.
Luca.
Oh, Luca.
I love Luca. He's so cute. He's so cute.
Sword. Can we talk about the
Yeah.
sword?
Brennan's sword
Mm.
and the ring, and Rowan knew the whole time.
That's right. He did.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
He knew.
It's weird how he was doing things, and it's like also a parallel to like how Tamlin and like Lucian were like trying to do things around the blight, and like Rome was trying to do things around his blood
Blood
oath,
oath.
which is
Yeah.
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was
So
bound by that too.
there's just a lot of similarities, but I will say ACOTAR was what brought me back into like full-fledged crazy reading. And I will die on the hill that I'm like, if you need a book to get you back into reading, ACOTAR. I will recommend that book to everyone, along with Fourth Wing. I'm like, these two books.
But I feel like Throne of Glass, the story writing is better.
It's a better storyline.
It's so
It's such a better
freaking
storyline.
good. Like we have been going, I think, already for like 40 minutes, and we haven't even gotten to Manon yet. We haven't even gotten to Manon at all.
My favorite character. I
She's your
love Manon.
favorite?
Well, I like her more than Aelin.
Why? Like literally how?
Okay, so I loved Aelin because she loved Fleetfoot, and maybe because I'm an animal lover, but I love that Manon is recognizing that like Abraxos and the other wyvern, like they're animals, but they're not just like livestock. Like they have feelings, and she has that capability, which is why it's pretty much a given. Like everyone's saying like, oh, you don't have a heart. Like witches don't have a heart. Like, Blackbeak witches don't have a heart. She has a heart. She definitely has a heart.
Why would you say you like her more than Selena?
Because
Selena's
I feel
your
like
best
I
friend.
just
I'm just kidding.
I love her. I love Selena and Aelin, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I appreciate Manon's hardness.
Okay.
And how she looks at her 13 and she's like not afraid to take the risk with Abraxos.
Yeah.
Like
that was cool.
Yeah, and she's like, all right, well, I'll still be amazing. I don't have to be your definition of amazing, but I'll still get the job done, but I'll do it my way and it'll be better. And I like that she's willing to take risks. I like that like her people are her people, like her 13, like Astrid and stuff like that.
Her grandma,
like
though, is a jerk.
Oh, I don't like her.
What a bitch.
Also,
What a bitch.
I like that I think it's the Blue Blood witches. She's kind of nice to them. Petra, is she a blue blood? I'm pretty sure Petra. Anyway, while the other witches are all like mean and like
the yellow legs.
Yeah, she got pushed into the ring by another witch. Like Manon's not like that.
Yeah.
And she's always willing to rise to the challenge. Again, I think she's very intellectual. She got to know like Abraxos was not just livestock.
Yeah, that's like the spider thing. That was awesome.
The spider silk thing
was my
pretty
favorite
cool.
scene from Manon.
And then also at the end with Petra when she's saving Petra off of her wyvern.
Yeah, that was cool.
And she's looking at her like the wyvern and she's like, there was nothing but unconditional love in that wyvern's eyes for its like rider. And I was like, I have goosebumps. I'm getting a lot of goosebumps this entire episode. But she was able to recognize that the wyvern have like feelings too, and that maybe these creatures, like she has like enough self-awareness to be like, maybe these creatures that I've just been told forever have
Or just
no heart, no, they can't understand you, they can't be this, they can't be that, they're only this, they just fit in this one box. But maybe they're more.
yeah.
Which is why I think she's thinking, and I think it's going to come to like, maybe she's more. Maybe she also like doesn't, like she can have a heart. Maybe they're just told, oh, witches don't have hearts, like, you know, but maybe she really does have a heart. And maybe she doesn't have to be this awful witch that everyone thinks she is. Maybe she can be so much more than just this, what the stereotype. Like she's not afraid to break the mold, which is what I love about her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just have like, I love how she thinks. I love her character. And so far, I've just, every time it's like a Manon. I don't know what it is, but like when she was introduced, every time Manon came up, I was like, ooh, let me just read on this. Like, and I would get super excited into the chapter. Like if it's a chapter about Manon, I would be like, all right, this is going to be a good one. Let's go.
That's so funny. It's so funny because I like the opposite. I'm just like, oh, okay, Manon, whatever. I'm just listening to her
This is why we're
perspective.
different. This is
I
why we have a good
know. I'm
podcast.
just like, Manon, whatever. Rowan, whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, they just really didn't sell me. I wasn't sold on them this book. I do think that like maybe next book there's gonna be more because I think Manon's gonna play a big role in Dorian because
Mm-hmm.
Dorian has magic, right? And like raw power. And
And
I'm
she's a
curious to
witch.
see how that connects to like witches. Is he like a witch? Is he like a warlock or whatever you want to call it? Does he have like, is his dad not really his dad? Does he really have like magic heritage?
Oh, yeah. That was a theory we had a long time
And in
ago.
this, I still feel that way. Like, I
Yeah.
still feel like there's something there. Like, he's got magic heritage. Like, where does that come from?
Where is it coming
Is
from?
he like from some sort of witchy clan? I don't really know, but I think that Manon's going to play a big role in Dorian's journey
Mm-hmm.
because I think that they're going to need Manon to figure out how to save him.
I agree, because why are we introduced to Manon?
Why exactly?
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
The only reason.
Yeah.
Someone else who has
Power.
yeah.
But
And who's gonna
also,
have like a self-discovery moment as well.
yeah, but also they're very limited right now, the witches, because there's no magic. They're aging. That
Mm-hmm.
whole situation's going on. So also Manon's on the king's side right now. The king
She
is
is.
giving them the
Which is probably
wyvern.
how she's gonna meet Dorian.
It's a very yes.
He's gonna meet Dorian that way.
as
He's gonna be
controlled by the king.
yeah, but he's also gonna be part Vlag at that point.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be really interesting.
He's just that sounds like sexy, evil like Dorian. Like I'm just imagining him like with like black like aroma all around him, dressed in like all black, like just like dark Dorian, like kind of sexy.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, kind of into it.
Okay.
In my head, I'm into it.
Okay, so speaking about Dorian, I don't think Dorian's dad. I told Val my theory the other day.
It's a good one.
I think. Okay, all right. Bear with me, and if I'm so wrong on this, be kind.
You're so right.
I don't know. So, you know how the Vlag, they're all like, we're Vlag princes and all this stuff, and they're coming from like other dimensions and other realms into like Adderlin. And they're literally all under the rule of this human king.
Loser king.
I don't think this king is solely human. I think Dorian's dad, the king of Adderlin, I think he must have messed up somewhere along the lines. I don't know what he did, but he has to be like...
He accidentally opened a portal maybe.
I don't know. And then a Vlag king... because there's a bunch of Vlag princes. I bet you a Vlag king like took over his body and he's also possessed. And that's how this whole thing started, because there's no reason that these powerful Vlag would listen to a mere human.
Yeah.
They would be like, all right, sir. So on that note, I'm going to slaughter you and then I'm just going to become the new king. So I think...
yeah, he does have the word keys though. Two of them.
I mean... yeah, but I feel like he probably got them recently, like when this all started years and years and years ago. I don't know if he had all the word, like those two word keys.
So
Do you know what I mean?
He just might be possessed.
I think he's possessed by one of like a Vlag king.
Yeah.
And like the other Vlag are like falling in line behind him.
Would that
because
not be the saddest thing ever though? Like at the ending, it's like a Darth Vader moment where it's like him and Dorian have a cute little scene, and he's just like, he
I'm so
dies. He
sorry. Yeah.
dies, and he's just like, I'm so sorry for
Everything
everything.
I
And then he
did.
dies because
Yeah.
he
And
has
you realize he was possessed, and like Dorian's like hated his father his whole life. And then he realizes like he didn't hate his father. He was hating the Vlag that was like possessing his father. I don't know if that would happen. I feel like that would just be really, really extra. But I
No, I
just
think that
feel like
if your theory is correct, that they're gonna have that moment because he's possessed.
I'm saying like my theory is really extra in regards to like that would just be a lot to add to the story. But I just feel like they wouldn't listen to a mere human.
No,
There's no reason.
I think is 100%. Whoa, I got to recover from that little scene there. But I think that makes sense to me. I
I
don't
feel
think
like
it's
it
too
makes
out
sense.
there
I feel like it could make
because
sense
if you
because
look at what's his face, the second guy, the one in the first book that he was working with, what's
oh
his name? Periwinkle.
oh Parawin
Whatever the hell,
para
I'm gonna call him Periwinkle.
yeah
Anyway, but
his
he's like
name
how
is
he all like is all changed and gets all so. I mean,
Peregrine.
Peregrine, maybe? Yeah. So I think that it's not too far off to think that his dad's possessed. That he maybe
Yeah.
started off with some ambition and he was dabbling in the magics. He got too far. He opened the wrong portal, and now all
I
of a
know it just went
sudden
really wrong.
it went
Maybe.
really wrong. And then it's like, whoa. Then as I said, SJM, she likes to weave everything together in the end.
And I was thinking like either maybe it was before Dorian was born and maybe like by the mom sleeping with the dad and like the dad's like a Vlag prince or a Vlag king. He's a king. He has to be a Vlag king. That means Dorian would be like part Vlag, maybe.
Which could maybe help him in the end with this.
No, that's how he has
No, but
magic.
that's how he's magic. But if he has part in him, maybe that's how he's able to like when he has the collar on, like he doesn't die.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like they're able to undo him without killing him because he has Vlag in
He's
him.
already part
Yep.
Vlag.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
and
can he still
Manon
get
finds
possessed? Do you think he can still get possessed? Could, like a Vlag possess another Vlag if they're part
I
Vlag?
don't know, but maybe the collar though has like that magic to like, control at least. Maybe now he's like controlled like a zombie kind of situation, but
Mm,
Manon finds a spell to be able to break it, and because he's got like this certain special blood, he doesn't die. He's like
maybe.
special because he
Okay.
can't die.
During, yeah, it would be really
Like
sad. But
him and
like,
Selena need
so,
to change the world. So yeah, I just think like Manon's gonna find that spell, or they're gonna figure out his heritage somehow. And I have seen some like different like people commenting
okay,
shipping them.
but I saw a picture of Manon
Uh-huh.
and she's with someone with white hair.
Huh. Interesting.
And I was like, Rowan has white hair, but so does Adian.
No, I don't think he does he?
Oh, Adian has like that blonde, whitish hair like Selena
That's what I
and the blue
thought. That's what
eyes.
I thought.
But someone posted a picture and like Manon, because I was looking at Manon fan art because I freaking love her.
Dom said not to do that because there's a lot of spoilers for fan art.
But that's what I saw. I saw the spoiler, and she was with some guy with white hair, and I
Yes,
was
you gotta be
like,
careful looking stuff
I
up.
know.
I'm telling you, I don't look anything. I don't look up the fan
Oh
art.
my god, I love fan art because like, I
I
have
do
to see what the
too,
characters look
but
like.
I already saw fan art for her like on different accounts that didn't have spoilers on Instagram, so I was like, I know what she looks like.
Okay, fair.
Careful.
So yeah, I was just kind of like, who's this white-haired man?
He didn't look like Rowan.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Adian is, what, a quarter fae?
Yeah.
Like Selena's a quarter fae, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it is interesting how diluted everything is, but the fact that Selena has this much power.
Because she has Brennan's
I know it's
blood that
interesting though, like
runs
that
through
diluted.
her. Yeah.
But also, if Rowan and Selena are mates, how are they going to be together if she dies? Like she ages and she doesn't live forever because she's not full fae. How does that work? And can you be mated with somebody who's not full
Well, I
fae?
think when she's in her full fae form, like when she's in her human form, because she's not full fae. So like when she's in her human form, I imagine like her animal form, she probably ages. But then like when she's in her fae
She can't
form,
stay fae forever
why not?
because
That's her true form.
because then demi fae would all do that.
They
Well,
do.
I know they all can't shift, but I think that she says that she can die, like she's mortal. So that's what
I
I'm
don't
thinking,
know.
like, something has to happen. There's some change that needs to occur
Yeah, that where
where
she'd be
she
either,
can be immortal because
or he becomes mortal.
or he becomes mortal. That could happen. That could literally happen. I just think yeah, I think she does say, like she talks about her mortality and stuff like that. I don't think that she can hold that Fae form forever. I don't
Hmm.
think she can permanently be in that form. And she's only a quarter, so that's even less than a half.
Yeah.
So how are they gonna be together? And so something has to happen. And also, how does that work into the multiverse? If he does become human or something, or he
They'll die.
dies together, if they die, or maybe the portals get opened while they're like, 30 or she's
I
like
don't know.
30.
I don't
There's so
know.
much to there. There's so much there.
There's so
There's
much.
so much there.
Okay.
We'll probably learn more and then be able to talk
We're gonna
better
learn
to that.
more. Okay,
Let's
so
talk about the
Abraxos. I
okay, let's
love
talk about
Abraxos
Thraxos,
really
then we'll go
quick.
to the
I
ending.
love Abraxos. He is so cute. He's like a puppy. And I'm like, he's always just sniffing the flowers and just sniffing wildflowers. And I'm like, this big scary wyvern just wants to sniff the wildflowers. Like, oh my gosh, I love him. This big scary wyvern just wants to sniff wildflowers, and I just love him. I love him. I love him. I love
It was a
him.
funny scene where she's just like, "Eat it. Eat it." And then she like eats it. She's like, "Oh my god, this is
This is
horrible."
disgusting. I'm not eating this
Like,
either.
he's just smart.
He's so
All
smart.
right. Well, let's get into the ending because I feel like this is
Okay.
going to take take a minute. So I genuinely thought that the ending, like the climax of everything, was when Selena went to Maeve's room, and I didn't even see any of this coming because I feel like I don't know, I've just been so busy lately trying to get through this audiobook, trying to like understand and comprehend. So all of a sudden, it's like she's, going up against Maeve, and Maeve's like using Rowan and torturing him and like having his friends do it, and she's just like, fuck that, and just
I
like,
will say I loved her in this moment.
oh
I
my
was
god,
like,
like where she's like thinking, she's like, wow, okay, so we're surrounded by water, everything is stone. What?
I literally
Puts it
sat
together.
there and I was just like, that's it. That's it. Get it. Like,
Team
I was so
Selena,
hyped.
man.
I was so hyped at that moment. I was like, all right, get your man. Get your man, Selena, or like Aelin, get your man.
Yeah, and the fact that she's literally like, I can kill all of everyone here right
Yeah.
now.
She's like, I could do it.
I
It's,
like, yeah, and she has Maeve in a chokehold, and I love that.
hmm,
And so she's like, no, okay, fine. And then the fact that she got the ring
yep.
to use as a bargaining chip, and she uses it to save Rowan. She could have used it for so many things, and she
Yep.
uses it to save Rowan.
Because low key, that's her mate.
That's
I'm putting money on it.
I will say that as epic as that scene was, I still was kind of like, Maeve is like full Fae, and Selena has her like in a total chokehold right now. And I
Hmm.
guess that does speak to the power that Brennan was
Hmm.
and everything like that and what he did and his bloodline. I thought it was interesting about the bastard Smark.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Her head.
Interesting. That
Because
like
we
he's a
learned about that
bastard.
in like Throne of
Like he's
Glass.
not really, I guess, royalty. What?
Wait a second. So
What?
the king, if he is possessed by the Vlag king, that we haven't even been introduced to a Vlag king, but hypothetically, if there is a Vlag king and the king is possessed by like this Vlag king, we know Brennan used the word keys to put them back years ago, like lock them away, not kill them, just lock them away.
Yeah.
The Vlag king would know that mark because he was locked away by Brennan. And that mark showed up when she was on the battlefield fighting Cain.
Interesting. Interesting.
So I wonder if this whole time the king's kind of known like what she is.
I feel like the king has had to know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why yet he like let it all play out and
Are
like
him and Maeve working
I
together?
don't maybe because I don't understand because I feel like the king has to know. The king is smart, as we can see in the last final actual climax of the book. Like I literally was like, okay, everything's cool with my friends back in Ardalan or whatever. Everyone's moving along, Adian, all of that. And then no. That was wrong. I was super wrong. They're not fine. They're not fine at all. They're actually the
Well,
worst.
that would actually make sense though if the king knew and like the king's working with Maeve and Maeve's like, I want Aelin dead. She's a threat to my throne.
Yeah.
And the king's like, okay, she's a threat to your throne. You want her dead? I don't really want her alive either. What if I delivered her to your doorstep?
Mm. But Maeve didn't kill her. She
No,
trained her.
but she wanted to know Aelin's power. She wanted like that. Maybe like it wasn't like I. She was kind of more or less like I need to know what this girl is and like what
Maybe.
kind of threat she poses to
I
me.
mean, it wouldn't be super shocking since Maeve didn't help anyone ever.
Ever.
Ever. Okay, let's talk about real quick before we get to the final scene. Selena's memories, her childhood, what happened to her, the destruction of Terrasen.
That was heartbreaking. That was hard to read.
Yeah.
That was actually like really hard to read.
What was the character who sacrificed herself?
It was I don't remember her name. She had a cute name. Can't remember it though.
Yeah. So sad.
Yeah, and she was just like her mom's BFF. And she had a daughter of her own, and it was like her daughter's never gonna see her mom or grow up with her mom now. And
Yeah, we learned so much about her history in this, which was really cool. And her and
Mhm.
Adian, and the fact that she'd met Prince Dorian
and they're
and
friends.
they were like friends, and like how she described how Dorian was very like proper and all this, and it was super cool. But then also how like her power and everything had happened.
King was like
Mm.
manipulating her power in that way.
Yeah, interesting, right? Like all the way back then.
Which is why I think all the way back then he would have still had to be possessed.
Possibly.
So like maybe I think I was more or less thinking that maybe like there was some weird bloodline on Dorian's mom's side, but now I actually think like the king did it before Dorian was alive.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time. So I think it had to be before Dorian's.
So we learned so
birth.
much in this book. It's insane.
This was like Akavor. Remember how like
and I hear it
Akavor
doesn't
was like
stop. Dom said it
gosh.
just the next book it starts
Yeah.
right on action, and it's craziness all the way for the next 2 books. And I
That's
don't know
my
how I'm
friend
gonna handle
D.
this.
My friend D, I was sitting at work with her and I got her into reading them, but now she's like surpassed me because like we're buddy reading, so we're like reading together. And so D, she's sitting at work and she just starts full on crying behind me, and I was like, what's going on? She's like, these are happy tears. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I wait like another 10 minutes and then she's crying again. I was like, oh, more happy tears. She's like, no, these are sad tears. Oh my gosh. And I was like, what? These are sad tears, but you were just so happy. I was like, what is going on? And she's like, I just need you to read these books. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get there. I promise.
I know. That's why after we film this, probably going to download it immediately and start listening because so
absolutely.
it's kind of what is it? Queen of
Shadows
and then Empire of Storms. Yeah, our
Yeah.
friend Dom, she was like, I'm gonna stop after Empire of Storms and wait for you guys to catch up before I and then she just texted me and she was like, I'm wrong. I was so wrong. Nothing could have prepared me for this. I'm not waiting for you guys. And I was like, what is happening? Because at the end of this book, at the end of Air of Fire, my mouth was dropped. My hands were over my mouth. I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I was not prepared for literally all of my heroes to be just in the worst situation possible, brought into the king's room. Like, shout out to Adian for just like, sticking up for Kaal like that and like taking the fall and just admitting everything and then getting taken away. And then shout out to Kaal for standing up to the king as well, even though he knew
And
it was
mind
certain
you,
death.
Kael is just human.
He's
like
just a normal person.
Adian is at least part Fae, and Dorian is like has some sort of magic, but like Kael is merely human. And again,
I love him.
good character. I'm just like, what is gonna happen
He's
to
a
this man?
stand-up
I don't
human.
know what's gonna happen. That I'm gonna not like him, or we're gonna not like him. I'm so afraid. I'm
freaking
so
love
afraid.
My Kaal, dude. He is a stand-up dude, and I love him so much. But yeah, so then we have Sorsha, admits everything. And even in that moment, it's like adorable because she's like, I'm gonna tell the truth right here so that the king can see Dorian's genuine shock, so that, he doesn't blame Dorian or think that Dorian was conspiring with me. And then she dies, and then like Kael or freaking Dorian's like reaching for her head as if like that line, reaching for her head as if he could put it back on. Stop it. Stop it. And then the fact that Dorian protects his friend Kael, unleashes his powers.
And the king is like, I thought you had magic. I knew
Literally,
you had
just to
magic.
save his friend. Like, Kael, I guess in that moment screwed up. Like he shouldn't. Maybe he should have just like not went after the. Maybe then Dorian wouldn't have had to use his powers to save his friend.
But the king
Um.
was doing it on purpose. Like he was like, all right,
Yeah.
Sorsha didn't unleash the powers, but guess what? KL, they might be on odds end right now, but like that's his
That's his
brother.
brother. Yeah.
That's his best friend.
Yeah. And Dorian's badass, like I just that scene described like
When the
like
king just gets like thrown back and you're like, haha.
literally, and it just makes me so sad that they were able to subdue him though.
I know.
Like I guess his
There's a well of
power
magic, just like
he
Selena has like
used
a
so
well.
much of it, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
it was enough for Kale to save Fleetfoot, mind you. How do y'all not like this man?
He keeps saving the dog. And
He
I'm
went
like,
to a portal for this dog. Then he makes sure to like go to the room to get
yeah.
the dog. And then he's like goes to Ren or whatever. And he's like, why the dog is gonna like give us away? And he's like, the dog is coming. Like,
Yeah.
how do you not like this man?
We love Kale.
Like, what a gem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he's literally now, in such a he's like, I gotta find Selena. Gotta
Absolutely.
find her and tell her what happened. Because it's literally like somebody had to do it. Somebody had to get out to tell Selena what's happening and to tell her about, the trap with Adian,
Yeah.
to tell her about what's happened to Dorian. Like somebody had to get
And
out
yet she's on her way.
back to find Arabin.
Yeah.
How is this all going to work? What's going to happen? Rowan can't go with her. Rowan can't leave because there's no magic. Like, which is still like, do you think he should have went?
Yeah, I think he should
Like,
have.
why did she not let him go?
Because he would give it away. And like she's not Aelin there. She's
You're
only
right.
Selena there. So she comes back. They're gonna be like,
You're right. I still think the king knows.
yeah, I think
The king has to know that like Selena is Aelin.
I think so. Yeah, I think he does.
It's
like
weird.
now reading this book, I'm like, okay, he definitely does. Like everything's kind of coming together.
Does he like know?
And like having this whole conversation, I'm like, oh, 100%. Like I just had that realization with like the mark on her head. I was like, no, the king 100% knows that they are like the same now. Especially like he probably confirmed it with that
And
mark,
with the
like,
Adian, like his eyes, her eyes, like
Ash River eyes.
come on now. But now I love how it's like they're rallying around, trying to build her court. Dorian's like, huzzah. Kale's like, I'm on board. Like, Adian's just like the best. And like the fact that, okay, this is going to make me emotional, but like, I think it was in Kale's head, maybe, that like he was like thinking back of like Adian. Adian did that, like, even knowing that he would be killed, possibly killed, right? And like not get the chance to see her again. He did that like, or like, no, this was Adian's head. He was basically like, I'd rather it be me than to see Selena's former lover.
Yep,
He
because that would
killed and hurt her. And I'm
Aelin,
like, the selflessness of these men here
who are just rallying
we just
around
be
this
talking
woman.
about these three
Can I say
men.
something really quickly that I just noticed? We're wearing matching earrings. That is totally off topic, but like we're wearing matching earrings.
I love it. That's so
How did I just notice that? I don't know.
I'd use all my magical powers to save you.
Same. I'd tear this whole freaking house down.
I'd save your dog.
Thank you. I'd save Stella too and Steve.
Wow. So this is
Anyway,
there's so much. This book is the best book so far. I'm sure it's
I
only
love
going to
this
get
book.
good, better from here.
I don't know. I hope
Um,
so, but I'm loving all the meat and potatoes. Like I feel like we just got nonstop, just like boom, boom,
I
boom,
love
boom,
the men
boom.
in this book more than
Yeah, I do.
Akatar men. I'm going to say it. I think that they're gems.
I love Cassian.
I think I love the men in this book more because we get to see their heads. I think that that's the biggest change for me is you can love a personality all day, but until you really get inside, and even Rhysand, we didn't really get much of him.
We saw Cassian's head though.
We did. We saw a decent amount of him.
That's why I love him.
Right. But we didn't really get anybody else. And we only got like maybe a handful of chapters of Rhysand, barely,
Yeah.
not even. And it wasn't like a deep him, whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like I just get to see their core, their inner thoughts and feelings. And it just really changes things for me.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So anyway, I guess we should probably wrap this up.
We're gonna wrap this episode up
It's
now.
been a long one, honestly.
Oh,
Like an hour. But I mean, I feel like it deserved an hour and we still didn't.
cover so enough.
There's so many other things that happened in this that we didn't even get to. But I'm really excited for the next book. I think let's see what's gonna happen in the next book.
And it comes back.
Arabin is introduced again.
I wonder if Kale, we're not gonna like Kale because he gets jealous of Rowan.
But Rowan's not even there.
I know, but she's gonna be like, I found someone else.
Maybe.
Or maybe like
I want to see them
Rowan
all
and
come back together after what they've been through.
But I wonder if Selena, like Rowan comes and then like they share like a moment and then maybe that's when Kale is like, I can't stand to see you with another
Maybe,
man.
but Kale's like pretty emotionally mature in his head, and he's already like trying to get over her. He's already like trying to let go and like change, like realizing that, he's like, because he always puts himself down. He's like, I'm just a captain of the guard, and he's like, I'm just this and I'm just that. So I feel like that's not even gonna happen either. So I just
That's
don't know
true.
what he can do. What is he gonna do?
Don't tell us.
Don't tell us, but like, what is he gonna do to make people not like
Is it
him?
really
Does he
that
do
bad?
something to Dorian? Does he?
Just like comment down below if it's really that
Is it
bad.
really that bad?
Is it really that bad to just
don't
like
think
negate everything
so.
else he's done prior? I don't know, but we really do have to wrap this
No.
episode
I
up.
think so.
Okay.
I think that so Manon, they have the wyvern. I think they're gonna be like maybe on the king's side at first, but she's gonna turn the 13 against the king, end up siding with Selena and everybody. I think that Manon is going to end up siding with Selena and the big war that's gonna eventually happen and have to happen. I think that they're gonna like Kale's gonna like also find the witches and like have like he's gonna be trying to find a solution for Dorian, and maybe it's Kale who goes to Manon first and the witches first. I don't know. But obviously Arabin's gonna come back. That's not gonna be a good showdown. I don't know if she's gonna get the word key back from him in the
I
next
hope she
book.
skins him alive.
Yeah.
I really want her to skin him alive.
She's gonna find out, I think, in the next book that he was responsible for Sam's death and he's the one who betrayed her. I think she's gonna find out next book.
I think she always knew.
Yeah.
She kind of knew deep down, like she didn't want to come to terms with it for herself. Like she was like,
I think she has suspicions, but she doesn't. I think it's going to be confirmed.
everything's gonna be
though.
confirmed.
It's going to be confirmed, and I think that maybe her emotions will get the best of her with that realization, and it's going to screw up getting the word key somehow.
But he's gonna end up dead no matter what.
Eventually, in the end, but I think Arabin is that slimy character that's going to hang on for a little bit longer. I really do think so. I think that her emotions are going to get the best of her, and she's going to not make a good calculated decision there. That's going to risk her getting the word key.
I could see
I
it,
could
but
see the king
I would
getting
really.
all three. I could see the king getting all three and making it so hard in this battle to where like the resources really have to come through. And they're going to be working also in the background to trying to figure out how to get magic back. And once magic comes back, I think that that's really when Manon and the 13 are going to shine and try to fight the king.
Absolutely. I could see that 100%. But I think like at the meantime, we're going to be dealing with, I don't know if he's going to get all three, but if he does get all three, I could see that happening only because Maeve. I think Maeve is working with the king. I'm convinced.
Yeah. I mean, especially after Selena just pissed her off like that. And now she doesn't have Rowan either.
She's going to go right to the king if she wasn't already.
Yeah, of course. Why not? Why would you not?
Anyway, we're going to wrap this episode up now officially.
There's so much to talk about, you know?
Thank you guys for watching and listening. We'll see you guys next week on another Whimsy Wednesday.
Yes, follow us on everything on TikTok,
Instagram,
Spotify,
YouTube,
and all of the other platforms.
and like Apple
Apple
Podcasts. Yeah, there's so many, whatever. And if you like this podcast, please feel free to give it a review.
Please, we really love the support of getting, our if you like 5 stars, give 5 stars, give comments, likes, whatever you want to do, or let us know what we can be doing better.
We always like a little constructive criticism too, because we do want to become better for you guys.
Definitely. There's so much this is so much technical work and we are learning.
We are very green.
Yes. So, but thank you so much for your support. And, if you're enjoying the podcast, please, feel free to give us a good review, thumbs up on YouTube and all of those things. We really appreciate it.
Val,
that's Taylor.
Val, I love you.
I love you so much. It's so nice to do this in person.
I know, it's so nice. I think we're talking way too much more because we're right here with each other and we're like,
there's so much I know.
But we love you guys.
Yeah, we got to hop off.
And yeah.
All right. Bye.
We're actually going to an ACOTAR party tonight.
I know, it's so exciting. You'll see it on our socials.
Yep. All right.
Bye, guys.